Can we start the class now? Hello. Can we start? आप आ गए हो ना जितने आना है. Am I audible? Because today I have put off the the air conditioner and I'm having this fan right now. Am I audible? Okay, okay. Okay, now let's start with it. So, in our last lecture, what we did was we came up to the techniques. We came up to the techniques like we have gone through this knowledge base part and how this knowledge base part, their characteristics and what are their basic requirements. We have gone through all these things, and today we'll try to close it up by going through the last phase of this subject and not subject, this chapter in fact, and we'll be starting up with the expert system shell, right? So in the export system shell, basically it comprises of some basic components. Now, initially starting up with the experts, they have to be there, and at our end, we do have the users. In between them, we do have certain phases that has already been elaborated in our previous lectures, like knowledge acquisition and how you're going to encode the knowledge gained from the expert within the expert system shell. Even though this whole part is called as the expert system shell, but basically it is the knowledge base, the inference mechanism, and the explanation subsystem that comprises of the expert system shell, right? Now what we got to do is we have to see all these components one by one. We have to see all these components one by one. Now knowledge base, we have gone through it, comprising of maybe of the if then rule conditions by which we can store the rule base, or we can even arrange the knowledge in the form of frames or semantic nets. Then how to extract those information, that is also there. Like in Prolog, the knowledge is represented as logical statements. They are basically the rule parts also that we define. You might have seen it in the strawberry Prolog part, right? So not much in this. Now next we are going to come down to the reasoning engine, right? So the reasoning engine is something that is the most important thing in any export system, right? I'll just hold on for a few seconds. Later I'll be talking about I'll be talking about this part after a few more minutes, right? इसके बारे में हम लोग बात करते हैं आफ्टर अ फ्यू मोर मिनट्स, क्योंकि इसके ऊपर थोड़ा ज़्यादा ही स्ट्रेस देना ज़रूरी है, क्योंकि नॉलेज एक्विजिशन सबसिस्टेंस वी हैव ऑलरेडी सीन. यार बार बार कोई ना कोई लॉबी में वेट करता है. Now, knowledge acquisition subsystem, a subsystem to help the experts in building the knowledge bases, right? We have already seen it, that how we perform the knowledge acquisition process by the use of the knowledge engineer and in the presence of the expert. We may be needing more than one expert also. Now comes the reasoning. And the explanation subsystem. User interface, I have talked about this many number of times. It is a very simple part, that how we are going to have the UI for a particular export system, right? Now we'll be talking about the reasoning engine and the explanation subsystem. We'll be talking about this, and we'll be talking about this part in detail. What do I mean by reasoning? Now, while our export system performs certain kind of tasks, that means it is making decisions, or it is proposing a kind of solution, or it is inquiring about, that means it is reconfirming the steps already taken by the user, and then after that the expert system takes any further decision, right? Generally this decision making process, or decision taking process, in fact, it varies from each and every situation. That means it is very much unique to each and every case for which the export system is being utilized or used. So case-based reasoning is something you can see here. Case-based reasoning is something that is a very, very popular area in which the AI experts, they are working nowadays. So I am a kind of a person, I'm assuring you, I'm not going to give you only ideas that are limited to our slides. I would like to show you something if you want to see. So here in our National Institute of Technology out here, this is the Department of Computer Science, and he is the professor as well as director of NIT Durgapur, Professor Anupam Basu sir. And ma'am, she's out here, she's my teacher and supervisor. So you can see here, I'll be showing you some of the things. If you go here, then in the research areas, you're gonna find case-based reasoning and applications, right? E-government services. So mostly the case-based reasoning and application research is very premier in the place where I am also working at present, working in the sense in terms of my research areas, right? So as far as I have gone through, I may be wrong to a certain extent on the practical applications of the case-based reasoning and its applications, while developing an expert system, especially in the areas of artificial intelligence, while we're dealing with case based reasoning, you have to have a thorough study about all the previous cases which are correlated to the present case with which you are dealing, right? So, there are some good case based reasoning work of my teacher. You can see it here. Like, if you go here, there are, like here you're gonna find a comparative analysis of permutation combination based grammatical rule based knowledge provider system, right? So these are all a part of NLP and case based logics that are generally applied for solving various kind of problems. I'll be talking about these things in my NLP chapter while I'll be dealing with it, right? Now, automated knowledge provider systems with natural language query processing, these are some of the case based models or modules you may talk about. I'll be giving you the practical work on all these things. I'll be talking about it. Don't worry. I'm just showing you that these are the areas in which I have seen my friends or my teacher working in these areas. Now, there's a wonderful tool that was previously developed out here that was case based reasoning and some typical applications of it. There's a very good work of it. You can just go through this part also if you feel like. There are good publications in these areas, right? So, if you would like to have, I'll be showing you all these applications of case-based reasoning in our further lectures, right? So, reasoning systems. What happens in case-based reasoning is while you are putting up a particular query to an expert system, so over a period of time, it will be repetitively asking you for further and further justifications, right? So that particular case becomes fortified by the induction of newer and newer knowledge on the basis of the problem that has been encountered. There is a small example of this case based reasoning and explanation subsystem out here. You can see it like we do have an example out here, a dialogue with an expert system designed to give an advice on car problems. Let's say you do have an export system which deals with solving the problems related to the vehicles. Then the system starts up somewhat like this. The system asks, does the car start? This is the question asked. The user says no, it is not starting. Again the system asks, does the engine turn over? Yes. Then the system again asks, do you smell a gas? The user says a yes. The user says a yes. Then a recommendation comes. This was like a knowledge validation part. And then comes a recommendation. The recommendation is that wait for 5 minutes and try again. At this point of time, while a person is very much tensed with his problem, he may not be trusting the expert system, that whether that expert system is seriously guiding that person towards a plausible solution or not. So under those cases, what's going to happen is the user may ask a question like why. The moment you get a question like why, that is not you, the system gets a question like why, it becomes mandatory for the system to put up an explanation for that particular case, right? That is, you have to give a reason for that particular case and an explanation associated with it so that the user understands the logic behind the step that has been taken by the ES. Like, if not starting and the engine turnover and smell gas, that means it is talking about the if conditions. If this, and this and if, then it is just like an if then kind of a condition. If these sets of conditions are there, then the recommendation is that wait for 5 minutes and try again. Maybe the reason being like the system is instructing the user that it may be stopped for a certain period of time so that the engine cools, right? So that the engine cools. Now, the rule gives the correct advice for a flooded car, and knows the question to be asked to determine if the car is flooded, but it does not contain the knowledge of what a flooded car is and why waiting will help. That means it is very much specified to a particular case on which the problem is been, I mean, in which the problem is involved. So it cannot get diversified from that particular topic and can go for answering to any other part which is not associated directly, too much directly with the topic, right? So the explanations that may come up may be a few types. What are those types of explanations? Now, how, why, and another why. The first how is, that means the system has reached to given conclusion. How you have reached, or how the expert system has reached for that particular conclusion, right? And why is for the system did not give any conclusion at all. That means it is still asking for justifications. So why it is asking for justifications? These kind of explanations are to be addressed. Another why is for why the system is asking a question, right? Now after this, we'll be going for, not be going for this part straight away. This is the last topic that we'll be dealing with. You might have seen that in the last 2 to 3 lectures on expert system, many occasions this thing has come up, like the forward chaining, backward chaining, and its problems. I've got a dedicated lecture on that. Many of you have definitely gone through it also, as far as I know. But some of you who might have skipped or haven't understood that, for them, it is out here. I'll be just running a little quickly through it. But if you say that, I think, yes, I've gone through this part with you yesterday. And the part that I haven't gone through is, I've gone through this part, right? With you? Have I gone through this part? Can you reply? I've gone through, na? This thing I have dealt. Any one of you? Have I gone through this part yesterday? Oh yes. So you will be solving the second part of it. So it is done almost. I've gone through the backward chaining also, right? I've gone through the backward chaining also, right? Okay, good. Very good. Sure. So then we can complete this part and we can simply call it off. Let us see the applications. This is very simple. The expert systems applications are like diagnosis and troubleshooting of devices and systems. Mostly they are used for diagnosis and troubleshooting, and also for querying over a particular module or a particular topic, also like the lunar or baseball. These are some of the expert systems. Lunar and on this baseball, these are some of the things on which there are expert systems which talks or gives certain amount of idea on them, right? You could have asked me what is this lunar, when the lunar that thing landed, and a lot of questions that were coming up. They devised a kind of an ES, which used to answer to the queries of the people on that. Then comes planning and scheduling, right? In this planning and scheduling, expert systems, commercial potential of planning and scheduling, they talk about. You have to go through this part. Then comes configuration of manufactured objects and sub-assemblies, right? How you're going to do this. These things are also the applications of AI. You just have to remember these points, right? Financial decision making. I talked a lot on this. How financial decision making that how our financial decisions are taken by the use of expert systems. Then knowledge publishing, right? Like the advisors and rest all people, how they take the use of these expert systems. Then process monitoring and control, it is also there. Then comes up like the design and the manufacturing. Okay, so this thing somehow finishes, or we have covered up the export system part, and now we are left up with, on my quota I do have this natural language processing and whatever part Rati sir will be asking me to deal with. So for today, I'd just like to take you towards one of the work. uh, shall I start up with the natural language processing's some of the parts today? Yes, I should. Yes, roll number 142, you have raised your hand. Would you like to ask something? 142, you have raised your hand. Do you want to ask something? Roll number 142. Okay, okay. Fine, fine, fine. No problem. No problem. Okay, so many of you might have seen, or those of you who haven't seen, they can simply. Shall I start up with something very light, on a lighter note? Not lighter note. In fact, it is serious note, but not with our typical slide structure, but with some of the works on natural language processing, on which you will be finding some of your seniors, those who have worked on it. Would you like to see that? Would you like to see that? Shall I show you? Okay, चलो दिखाया जाए. So what you can do here is, uh, you just come up here. This is one of our work. We have got almost 5-6 work on which people have worked on. So this is one of the work that is there. It has been published last year itself. So wait a minute. Wait a minute. Is the screen visible? Is the screen visible properly? Okay, fine. Acha, let me show you. This is a very good work, and remember, I'm not showing you uh, with any other intention. My intention is to boost up your morale, like even though it is very high. Yeah, Rachit Srivastav, अगर कुछ कहना है तो कहो. By the way, here this is the work on which there are few people who have worked on. Like he is the person, Deepak Tripathi, your senior, who is still now there at JUET in the final year. He is also in the final year. Saurav S. Kumar, he is senior to them. That means he is in final year, and he is a pass out of 2019, right? He passed out last year. He's an alumni, and such a fantastic person he is. Here you're gonna find that there's a work on which there's a good amount of stress has been put up. Mm, a good amount of stress has been done on this work. So many of you who are out here can simply ask me a question that why I'm showing you this. Yeah, please ask. Khatri, what do you want to ask? So this is a pure natural language processing work on which the people of JUVT, they have worked with me, and she's obviously my teacher out here, and they are all my students. I mean, from JUVT itself, and you wanna see them here. You wanna see them here. You can see them here. Like they are the people: Deepak Tripathi, Hardik Gupta, and Saurav S. Kumar from our JUVT itself. Now, why? The reason for showing you this, that in a critical topic like natural language processing, our students at JUT, they are so fantastic in working in this area that we have recently also got two more publications that is there in my Instagram handle. I have shared it very recently. Many of you might have seen it also. They are also with the final year students with whom I have worked. And okay, so what I want to show you here is like थोड़ा सा और डिटेल में देख लो, तब आपको समझ में आएगा कि हाउ गुड दिस वर्क इज, राइट? So if I just I've shown it to some of you, like to make you understand, to make you understand. Shall I show all these things? If at all you are enjoying, or else I'll straight away start up with the slide and the typical part, or else I'll give you some practical flavor of what things have been done. थोड़ा सा देखना चाहोगे, या फिर shall I open up the slides? Whatever you say. I'm happy with both. Okay, इसको देखो. So what you can do here is like, what is his name? IIT. So I'm just showing you because I know him, and I might have recommended this name to many of you. So he's one of the professors, and he was previously back at the IIT Mishra also during my engineering days. And this is the biodata of it. You can see it here. It is from the site of ISM IIT ISM Dhanbad, right? And if you just go through this, you're gonna find that in case of international journals, he has somehow marked some of the things like it is written as SCI, right? Is written as CI. In most of the IITs and NITs faculties, you're gonna find that people write this thing. And many of the faculties back at our GUT also, they also do have very good publications of this areas. So these are the rating agencies, right? The highest rating agencies on which, if your work is good enough, that comes up. So just to make you understand that how good, how fantastic our students at GUT are. Like while people talk about institutions like NITs and IITs and BITS and all, I'll be saying when while you have seen this, then hmm, कोई तो ठंडा लगती हो बंद कर दे बंद कर दे बंद कर दे ठंडा चली जाए so this part that I'm showing you now, this Clarivate analytics, right? This Clarivate analytics is something that lists the work worldwide that has been governed by the Web of Science, and they take care of all the engineering and medical publications of high standards. If you got any publication and if it is listed in this SCI, SCI part is what is out here. इसको देखने के लिए the best site is to validate is out here. So if you want to see, then there's a way out by which you can check. Like it is published in this journal, so you just come up here and you can post it here, and you just have to put up a search, right? You just have to put up a search, and you wanna see it here, right? It is here, and जो आप यहाँ पर ये जो SCI देखते थे ये लिखा हुआ, this is basically this one. This is basically this one. This S and this C and this I and this E, right? So what I wanted to say is, the guys, these folks, they have worked so fantastically. Like they have got their work, even though we shared the ideas and the work is out here. So this is a purely NLP and AI based work. So I'll just show you some more things like it can be seen here. सबसे पहले तो मैं आपको दिखा दूँ, they are the guys, he and he, and I heard you might have seen him, you know him, he's a fantastic guy in the final year. You might have seen him too. Again, all are from our GUT, all are from our JP University at Pune, Madhya Pradesh, and I just love this guy, Saurav Kumar. He's a great chap. Yeah, you know Hardik Gupta good enough, and he's fantastic. Saurav Kumar. He was a footballer at JVT. This is a very healthy kind of a knowledge acquisition system that you're going through. So he sat back with hours together and made this work happen. So अगर आप देखना चाहो तो you can see it here. That was the kind of a work that they have done. In case of natural language processing, the work is out here. Information retrieval based question and answering system for an NER, name entity recognizer, for unstructured information without using SQL. So that is like a kind of, and this NLIIRS, you might be seeing this term NLIIRS, right? So this is Natural Language Information Interpretation and Representation System, right? This is NLIIRS, NLIIRS. So this is a fantastic work that they have done. You can see a part of it. The term that I was talking about a few minutes back, like lunar, I was talking about. And there are a few more. There are a few more. There are a lot more that are there. Right. So this is the system architecture that they have designed. We combinedly thought of working out on some of the areas. This is the work that they have. These all things I thought about it, and they have made it possible. Without their support, it would have been very, very difficult. Like these are the things that are developed exclusively by our GUET guys. The topic on which the top class faculty members from India and abroad they boast of. This is the work done in house at GUET on natural language processing. And the system architecture that you've seen above. And these are the algorithms that we have gone through or we have developed as a whole. The search related algorithms, the set of algorithms we do at the second and the query processing algorithm on natural language text data. Right. Now, you do a third one like comparison of verb, noun, adjectives, and inputs. So while teaching NLP to you, I sometimes feel that the hell lot of work that we have gone through in this subject, sequential sentence processing algorithm. Remember, these are not any copied stuff. They are all developed. They are all developed at GUT only. We all have worked on it, right? And especially Hardik and Saurav and Deepak, they are just gem of a person. And I was the one who thought of that. Yes, the ideas can come up from any sources. So the question handling algorithm. See the painstaking work that we have taken up. The main invocation algorithm that goes. You can find even these are like the recursive calls, right? How you are going to call which algorithm at which place. You're going to find these things that you're like. You'll be calling algorithm 3 here, then 3 here. Sometimes you'll be calling algorithm 5 here. So the description of the algorithms, it goes somewhat like this. The abbreviations that are used for this whole work. Then these are the results. These are the results that are there with you. So these are the set of the results that are there, and these are the work comparison graphs. Right, it is there, and then these are some of the graphs and works. Then we talked about the limitations of our work, and then the conclusion of it. And then their work is now listed out there. Here, and their work is now listed out with my funding agency. And of course, I'm forever thankful to this as well as to this, no doubt about it. Okay. So let me give you a bit of hint about what work has been done in case of natural language processing out here, and जो हम slide में देखने वाले हैं from our next lecture. What is the difference between them? I'll be showing you here. Like the work is now in a very simpler language. The work is about you are having a good amount of text heavy information, right? Like you are having an unstructured information, and from that particular unstructured information, you have to infer or you have to extract the information. One of the simplest way of extracting the information without using the natural language processing is by flat searches, right? Or by putting up or by enhancing the indexed based searches. These are some of the ways by which you can extract information from unstructured data. Or you can have some of the vendors that are widely available in the market, like for handling NoSQL databases, you're having MongoDB and RESTAll. There are around 32 of these kind of vendors that are available, right? So that thing can also be used. But if you want to develop a generic system for this, you need to have let's say there is a text. Let's say there is a text, and the text is somewhat like John is playing football in this, and Tom is living in America, and Tom Cruise is a good person, and Paris is the capital of France, and Paris is a good place. So I do understand that this is a set of paragraph which is very weird for you, and Tata is a well-known person. So the text starts up from here and it goes up to here. So anything that is having more than one delimiter, that means a full stop, and I can call it as a paragraph. Anything having more than one sentence can be called as a paragraph, even though this work is capable of handling thousands and thousands of lines of text. But here for our testing purpose, we have used the sentence with we have used the text with almost 4 or 5 lines, right? Now, from this information, since you can read it and you can memorize certain chunk of this information, but let's say the sentences were more than 2 lakh sentences a day, then how you gonna extract information from natural language text or information that has been given to you? So under those cases, what you have to do is you have to incorporate the systems like NLI, IRS, or something of similar nature for extracting information. So from this, just a moment, hold on, sir. जी सर, फैंटास्टिक रहा, पूरा का पूरा बेहतरीन रहा। मैडम बहुत बढ़िया बोली, मतलब मशीन लर्निंग पे इन द रीसेंट पास्ट आई हैवंट हर्ड सच अ फैंटास्टिक लेक्चर। बहुत बेहतरीन रहा, बहुत बेहतरीन। वो तो मेरे स्टूडेंट्स का भी क्लास था, वरना मैं इनको भी एंगेज कर देता उसको सुनने में। तो और 1000 से ज्यादा लोग यार, 1000 से ज्यादा यार, इट्स फैंटास्टिक सर, बेहतरीन। कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशंस, कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशन सर। 15-20 लाइन का अपने अकॉर्डिंग इसी के ऊपर ना, मैडम के ऊपर ही ना। अरे यार, अभी मेरा लेक्चर चल रहा है भाई, 10 मिनट में लेक्चर को कंप्लीट कर लूं, करके उसको लिखने बैठ जाता हूँ, ठीक है? हाँ हाँ, 10-15 लाइन ही बढ़िया वाला लिख के भेज देते हैं, जो पेपर में अच्छे से छप जाए, है ना? बस बस बस। एक करवा दो यार, एक। अरे आपका इतना बड़ा ब्रांड वैल्यू है यार, आप कुछ भी बोलो, हम तो आपके लिए कुछ भी करें। ठीक 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 सर, ठीक। So these are some of the ways by which we can handle the things, right? So from this text, one can ask a question like, who's playing, right? Who's playing? So there will be a set of approximate answer. All these processes are not so easy. They are taken care of by the set of algorithms that you might have seen a few minutes back. So John is playing football in America, right? This is your approximate answer. From here, we have chosen the question words who, WH. But remember, this is not a basic search. This is a kind of compilation of a lot of techniques involving NER, named entity recognizers, and GPE handling, and a lot of other things like post tagging and all. By doing all these things, you'll be coming up with an answer of this. So these are some of the parts of natural language processing that we'll be going through. How we deal with the post tagging part, how we deal with named entity recognizer part. These are the practical applications, right? So ये सारी चीज़ें we'll be going through, and I'll be showing you some of the more recent works on these areas. So for today, you may go, but before you go, Suresh, have you taken the attendance? Suresh, have you taken the attendance? Okay, okay. Acha, remember, we'll be having, I'll be talking about, not talking about. In fact, what you got to do is, जो आपके 15 experiments का list है, उसमें से आप अपने group के हिसाब से you'll be making out at least one project each, right? Uh, for 12 work जो आपका single बनाना था उसको please आप बना लें. Make out a document of it. Very soon me and Rati sir will be collecting it from you. ठीक है, उसको थोड़ा सा बना के रखें. And अच्छा, have you gone through the V labs or the virtual labs? Have you gone through it? V labs. Have you gone through the V labs? Any one of you has gone through the V labs? Okay. So in our next lecture, I'll be talking about the natural language processing. I'll be finishing up my part, and I'll be talking about the V labs, and at least one experiment from V lab you have to perform. So I'll be showing you which part and what you have to do in our next lecture. Okay? So thank you so very much. Acha, before you go, remember, tomorrow we have got a webinar, right? Of JVT. I'll be taking that from 5 o'clock in the evening. So I may not be able to come up in the class because I have already taken up this class on Sunday. It has been preponed, but I have to take that class. So it will not be an extra class, but a class that has been missed. Or in fact, I have taken earlier. I'll be taking that class again. And जब भी हो हम लोग एक बार मैनेज कर लेंगे उसको, ठीक है? या फिर विल बी डूइंग वन थिंग, विल बी एक्सटेंडिंग दिस लेक्चर फॉर अ फ्यू मोर टाइम डे आफ्टर टुमारो. एंड कल तो मेरे को एक और टेंशन भी है, लाइक द साइक्लोन दैट इज कमिंग अप. वी शुड बी एबल टू कैरी ऑन विद द वर्क. ठीक है, चलो, थैंक यू. You can go now and enjoy the evening. Thank you. Very fast.